Hello, dear soul. Welcome to this podcast episode that I am re-recording because the first time I was just going around the city and I cannot explain what the adventure it has been to just do this quietly because it's just unbelievably noisy and unbelievably challenging to record these things without, weird looks at what you're saying or just noise. So here we are. Today's episode is going to be about Ascended Masters, and there is something that just came through me. I was in the train earlier today, and I was trying to keep up with all the messages that were coming through, that were just the floodgates were open, and I was just really trying to catch up with all the messages. And in the end, I decided that I was going to record this and really just offer you the raw information that is. Some of it is really just it's so freshly baked, it's just out of the oven. And again, I do not assume to hold the absolute truth. I relate this from a human experience. Okay, so you may have your version of what that is, and that is perfectly fine. We are in the 5D. There is no such thing as one just a fixed reality, right? And many realities can coexist at the same time. So for those of you who resonate, or for those of you who are just interested in this topic and find it of value, then you're more than welcome to listen to this. For those of you who don't, that's perfectly fine. Okay, Ascended Masters. There are a few things that I was getting around the Ascended Masters. First things first. As a New Earth visionary, your main purpose, is to ascend, because we cannot create in the 3D. Your purpose, and you may have tried to fit your purpose into some sort of a 3D box. You may have built businesses, you may have created projects, you may have tried to create a version of your purpose in the 3D that sort of looks like something that your soul has called you for in this lifetime, but it was not fulfilling. Ultimately, life has rerouted you towards your destiny. You have realized that, wait a minute, I have invested all this, but in the end, it was not what I'm here for. So unless you ascend, meaning unless you transcend the 3D version of reality that we have been conditioned to live in, the 3D box, which is all about the physical, the material, and unless you truly align with your soul, meaning the true essence of who you truly are, you are still going to be operating from a very limited version of who you are and what you came here to be, and you're never going to feel completely fulfilled. You're never going to be free, because you're still going to be stuck inside of the limited versions of your true destiny. And I shared in the community tab about what I believe the Matrix is. The Matrix is, again, everything that is created inside of the 3D box of the old paradigms that we came here to transcend through healing, because what keeps you stuck in the 3D are merely the fears, the illusions, the low vibrational emotions that are keeping you tied, shame, guilt. They are keeping you tied to and attached to the 3D box, and it could be karmic relationships, it could be addictions, it could be behavior patterns, it could be identities, it could be anything that you're just trying to box yourself into, right? So your purpose is, first of all, Ascension is your own personal growth, is your own personal soul journey, okay? And what does Ascension means? Ascension is being a spiritual master, okay, and being able to live as a spiritual master on Earth, okay, which we know that is very challenging, and keeping that soul integrity to who you truly are is very challenging because of all these energies that are circulating around. They're trying to deviate from our purpose, all these dark agendas and evil agendas that are keeping the planet and Mother Gaia tied to this limited reality that I've talked about in the previous episode more in depth. So when we think about I don't know if you hear that, but it's a church nearby anyway. Right, so when we think about ascended masters, we think about, you know, angels, archangels, spiritual guides, spiritual masters that have walked this planet and have ascended, meaning that right now they live in higher dimensional realities, in higher dimensional planes. I think that angels live in the 9th dimension, if I'm not mistaken. And we relate to them, but they're soul that exist. They're soul that are still out there. They're not, you know, when we think about death, death is a portal, okay? Death is just it's just your soul continuing the journey into another plane of existence, right? It's not just a door to heaven. What we call heaven is higher dimension. Some may continue to come back here for karma purposes, and that's the portal. It's just a portal into a new life on Earth. But if you came here for Ascension, it's a portal to a higher dimension. But an ascended master is the one that is ascending while being on Earth. And that means that as the same way you relate to these ascended masters, which are guides that exist, the same with your star family, your galactic team, the same with your spiritual team and ancestors that have lived with you. They are out there. There are souls that exist that we don't see in the physical, but we can access when we are connected to the 5D. And so the same way you relate to these spiritual masters, you as a New Earth visionary, as a starseed, as a galactic missionary, as a twin flame, and I'm going to circle back to that in a short while, you came here to be a guide as well, in some shape or form, okay? What you are here to create, whether that is a 5D healing business, whether that is a community, a 5D New Earth community, whether that is art, music, innovation, anything that brings in higher dimensional frequencies on Earth is part of your 5D mission. And again, it will be individual to every single one of you. And unless you do this from a higher dimension, you will still be looping in the 3D. And so the same, again, I want to share, the same way you relate to these archangels or angels or ascended masters, the same way you do that, Other people will relate to you as a guide towards the new earth. Now, it's not going to happen through, you know, having your picture portrayed in a church, which, by the way, religion is just utter nonsense and worshipping. I don't believe in that. I believe that we can be inspired by these higher beings and we can be guided by them, but I believe that religion is a box that is keeping you powerless, and most of the preachers and priestesses are very much in their ego and in the 3D. And oh, by the way, this is what cults are all about as well. And right now there are so many cults out there in the 3D under the label of spiritual businesses that are created from the ego. They are simply created by people who just want an image or who want to be the guide, but they are not from the 5D, they're not from the heart. The heart center, when you connect to the heart center, that's when you actually are able to create something that is pure and that is truly for oneness. And as an ascended master, you cannot not be of service. It's your purpose, it's your job to be of service, of true service. But when you're in your ego, you're going to be using your purpose as a means to an end, which is what the 3D conditional world is all about. So, right. So yeah, I was saying that it's not, you know, it's not through your guidance will be specific to you. It will be the part of your purpose, and you know, you will be using your spiritual mastery to help elevate others into 5D as well through very unique and out of the box projects. So you really need to be able to you really need to be able to break free from all these chains of the 3D, because what you will be creating will not be for everyone. And if you're still in the people pleaser mentality and trying to please your family, trying to be someone that is gonna, you know, not shake the status quo, then you gotta transcend that. You gotta transcend the fears that are keeping you limited and tied to this identity, and just really be empowered enough in the knowing of who you are, because a leader is someone who is in a leadership energy, in his healed or her healed masculine energy. And so we gotta heal the wounded masculine within us all so that we can be true leaders. And this is New Earth leadership. It's very, very different from 3D leadership that uses external power to influence. But true authentic power is not about convincing people in any way, shape, or form. It is about inspiring and detaching from the results, right? And for that, I would truly recommend to research the life of these archangels, and to really just understand that to relate more to them than to all these figures in the 3D that we may have followed as an example. Because I mean, I was getting the image when I was in the train ride earlier today of Jesus driving a Ferrari, which, I mean, I don't, or Mary Magdalene getting Botox, or using her sexual energy to manipulate, which, I mean, these are the patternings in the 3D, okay? These are the distorted karmic energies that are circulating in the 3D. And we really gotta transcend all that bullshit and all that nonsense, because this is not what we came here for. And you may have submitted to these labels and to these external false sense of validation from the outer world, through your status, through your looks, through superficial things, surface level things. But your depth and who you are as a soul, it's just not possible to just try to squeeze into that just nonsense just nonsense world, okay? But the only way you do, the only reason you did that, it's really important to forgive yourself, because I mean, it was literally for survival purposes. You come here on Earth, you realize that, oh shit, you're different than everyone else, and your strong need for belonging will have you trade your authenticity for something external, because the love that you have been given so far, it has been conditional, right? Unless you did this, you could not be acknowledged and you could not be seen, because the 3D people were not able to see you and what you have to offer to the world, which is very unique and very out of the box. So what you have to do is become something you're not to make it through. And we all know how difficult it is to live on Earth without love, without unconditional love, which is our essence and who we are as souls. We carry so much oneness and purity and love that here on Earth we just don't see we just cannot find, unless it's our true soul family that we only find later on in life, once we go through the painful process of karmic energies and understanding how life on Earth works, how conditional it is and how limited and just distorted all these karmic dynamics have been, whether it's in relationship, inside of society. I mean, you know best what you've learned, your New Earth resume. We call it the New Earth resume. It's everything that you have been guided to learn through your experiences and what you came here to transform for yourself, but also, if you choose so, to be a guide for others as well. So if you have learned distorted patterns within relationships, then you may be a relationship guide. If you have learned distorted patterns within society, then you may come here to create something completely new that is really unconventional, and it's that is really guiding others to the New Earth and not looping in the 3D. Okay, I wanted just to share before I wrap this up, but the message of today is to really understand that you gotta detach from the kind of mentors and guides that you used to look at to ascended masters, because this is what you came here to do. Okay, and again, I repeat, some of them, they live in very, very higher dimensions that we don't see, that we cannot have access to. In the 5D, we are still going to be, you know, in the physical, is just on a different frequency than most people. And those who are, oh my gosh, there's a bird that just flew. Oh my god, okay. It was attacked by a bird. Help. Okay, the 5D New Earth, it's, you know, we're still in the physical, it's just lower density energies. Sorry, higher vibrational energies, and not so low and dense and attached to these heavy emotions that we need to heal, to transcend, to fully transcend. And it is through healing that we do that. So this is how we ascend. This is how our bodies are becoming lighter. So the way we guide other people, it's in the 5D, meaning in that unity consciousness, and we are going to become inaccessible to very low vibrational energies, meaning we are really going to be guided to places, people that are in alignment with our purpose and who we are. And some of the low density realities that are happening out there are just not even gonna reach you. Now, it doesn't mean they still don't exist. They will, and they will keep looping in the 3D. But personally, I have not watched a single news for 10 years. 10 years. I do not own a TV. I'm just completely, some would say, ignorant to what's happening, because I get my information straight from source, because I know what my timeline is. I know I don't need to loop in that awful reality that's happening out there. Okay, so what I wanted to share is that many of the ascended masters are also twin flames. And it's important to understand, as a twin flame, you are going to be, in some shape or form, a guide. Okay, you are meant to be guides. This connection is so out of the box that, you know, if you're trying to fit it into a particular 3D label, you're just not going to be able to, because it is a soul connection, meaning it's pure, it's not something you can control, it just is. It's your soul contract with your twin soul. And many of you are meant to be guides, because it is through this, it is through the shared purpose that you have that you're meant to either create something, or create art, or really be an inspiration for others for the ascension process. And you know, some of the twin flames are there, or I was recently reading about Mother Mary and Archangel Raphael. There is obviously Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, Saint Germain and Lady Portia, and just many others. If you look online, well, depending on where you look, you're gonna find many of them that that walk this earth and that ascended as twin flames. And if you haven't watched it yet, I will encourage you to look at to listen to my previous episode, in which I talk about twin flames and how they are so important in this ascension process. And so this connection cannot be boxed in. And it can look in however way you and your soul partner want. Okay, if it's business partners, then it will be business partners. If it's romantic, then let it be romantic. If it's being ascension buddies, it will be being ascension buddies. If it being mere strangers, it will be mere strangers. So long it's a mutual agreement and doesn't come from a place of avoidance, which you cannot avoid your twin soul. It's just avoiding yourself, which you cannot do forever. It's really up to you to create something out of this. But that soul purpose you both share, it's set in stone. It's written in the stars. It's part of your soul contract. It's your soul destiny. But how you are translating that into 3D, it's really up to you. Okay. What else? So yeah, the most important thing that I wanted to share with you today is this shift from looking at yourself as an identity, looking at yourself as being this persona that you have been up until now because you were building your sense of self-worth from getting that external validation from the outside, through your status, through what you were giving to other people, everything that was conditional. And, you know, stop doing that and coming into the embodiment of you being a true ascended master in whatever way that looks for you. Okay? And that is 5D. That is why so many of us, you know, in the past, we have had so few ascended masters, because it was very challenging. The energies were so low. And I mean, those who came here before, they were really badass souls that right now they're just in such a higher dimension that we can't even access them physically. But it's right now there's so many souls, thousands and thousands and thousands, if not millions, that will ascend. And as pioneers, as the 144,000 as starseeds, we came here to be guides, and we're gonna ascend in waves, and we're gonna spread 5D templates that, again, I repeat, it can be, you know, a 5D business, you know, doing things a better way that is not in the 3D. And it can be a 5D connection. It can be, you know, this pure divine love. It can be a 5D lifestyle, which is like full of freedom and not attached to this, you know, 9-to-5 boring lifestyle, or it's anything that is truly not just for appearances or for getting something out into the world because you want to prove whatever it is that you want to prove, but something that is really connected to your soul. Something that it's just you're in your most authentic self, you're in your most authentic pure nature, and you're sharing that. You're becoming the expression of your soul. This is our soul destiny. This is our soul purpose, is becoming a vessel for our soul to be fully expressed and to express what we came here to express. And that has been challenging up until now because we have faced judgment, we have faced criticism, we have faced all these hostilities that we were just not able to, because we were so wounded, because we were so different, because we were so rejected, because we were ashamed, we were judged, we were put down. And it was dangerous for us. It was not safe for us to be who we truly are out into the world. Now, the energies are very different, and I'm going to end with this because I cannot stress how different and how brutal the shift has been from, you know, into the age of Aquarius over the past 2 weeks. And I just gotta say that every single time that it's like, you cannot not be authentic. You cannot not share from your heart. You cannot not be just unbridled. And the more bold you're going to be in your expression, the more aligned you are with your soul, the more success you're going to have, meaning success in, you know, in your own terms. But if you're still hiding, if you're still sort of like, oh, I'm not gonna share, you know, it's very challenging. Like, I'm still struggling with my human condition of fear and, you know, fear of judgment when I share these out of the box messages. But what I realized in the past is when I was massaging the messages to make them not, to make them acceptable in the world, I was just, they would not even be listened because I was not in the frequency, in my highest frequency, which is what we came here to do in the 5D. It's really being in your truth and unshakable in your truth, and being so driven in your authenticity that you're going to inspire others as well, right? We all know that if you're like wishy-washy and sort of doing things, this is not inspiring energy. Okay, inspiring energy is when you really like hold your heart preciously and you're just, this is me and I don't care. I don't care who has something against it, because this is who I am. So, but again, in the past it was difficult. What the heck? Okay, in the past it was difficult because we would truly not receive just love and acceptance from anyone, and we really believed, as starseeds, we all carry these deeply ingrained limiting beliefs saying that we just cannot be loved and seen and accepted for who we truly are, which was true in the 5D, in the 3D. But now, as we are really coming together with our soul tribe, with those who can see us, like, we know that we can unconditionally be loved, supported, not taken advantage of, and this is what is going to give us the courage and the motivation to be our authentic self out into the world, because it is only through this safety of being in a container that you know you are held, you know you are not going to be, there is no agenda. It is only in those kind of places that you will be able to heal and you will feel safe enough to show your true self out into the world again, because it's very vulnerable. It is a very vulnerable process to really be sorry about that, to be unique. Okay, so I feel like there is just really the city is getting noisier and noisier and noisier, so I'm gonna wrap this. Okay, so I thought it was not recording. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up today. I really hope this message resonated and it reached whoever it needed to reach today. Again, I repeat, this is really the idea of the message of today, is to understand that we are really we need to model new and very out-of-the-box ways of being as Ascended Masters, and no longer look at these 3D distorted templates of role models. This is very important to understand, and everything has to be from a spiritual perspective. Right, so with that, I will see you in the next one. Take care.